Oh yeah, he is a grandpa. Okay.
Six
So
times.
so young. Yes. All right. Today we're gonna watch a great video from the Humor Consultants. I'm not even gonna give it much fanfare because I'm gonna let Deanna give it fanfare. So she's gonna introduce the video. And then also I want to give you the opportunity because somebody asked to get the upcoming conference that is the next one is actually free. This one's $49. The next one's actually free, but we are in full effect. And there we go. We are in full effect. This one is August 17th. This one is August 17th, I believe. Pretty sure. Okay, yes, August 17th. If you are someone, I can't tell you what to do with your brand, Jerome. All I can tell you is that the idea of me doing something regular makes no sense to me. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. So
I already signed up, so you ain't talking to me. So
fair enough. Yes, sir. Yeah. Just there you go. All the content will be downloadable, and I'm not going to put it on a. So you're going to need a drive. Yeah, a lot of people have signed up already. I know Penelope is one too. She's on there. You're going to need some device. So you're going to have two options of downloading. One is to big caboozle or whatever, the kit and caboodle. There you go, right? The whole thing. And then you're going to get each segmentized. So you will have that 72 hours. You will get a link. Actually, when you pay, you get instructions. 72 hours, you will get a private link. There is a 1% chance this will ever air upon the airways. This is 1% chance, if that. This is completely private. I'm doing this on purpose. The next one, I think, happens sometime 45 days after that, and that's another big shindig. But that won't be open for free, and there's a couple more.
Even though it's private, I can invite people to come though, right?
If they pay, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I gotta give the link. Yeah.
Yes. They need the link.
They can't get in without paying. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we friends if they pay. We are friends. Yeah, they don't pay, but they don't get one of them other ones. Get one of them other ones. But there's a bunch. I've been waiting for the stars to align to roll with the Assembly of Wonder. So very fantastic. I think there's a great description, great website, great description. Deanna, if you click that website and share your screen, that would be great. You can see all about the conference. I would like to tell you about it, but I want to rush to this video. I'm not going to tell you about it, but she'll share her screen. And okay, she's kind of sharing her screen. Looks like it.
I checked. I was in the middle of a thought to send to you in Line App. So that was my finger saying, hold on, I'm coming. You see it?
Okay, yeah. That'll probably happen.
It sparked when you said this will never be.
It's never going to be.
Yeah, that would be a great way to do that. Like you did with like the Jonah series, and there's a few other series that you did with that.
So I'll do that then. I'll do that. She wants me to put it up to the video will be available later, but that's going to be, I'm just telling y'all right now, stop your screen. Stop your screen. That video is going to cost $97. Just want y'all to know.
In the Assembly of Wonder
store. It's going to cost $97. In the Assembly of Wonder store, it's going to cost $97. If you would like a discount, get it on time. Let me help y'all out why I'm doing that. Because if you don't treat the Adonias proper for being first, they're going to stop being first. Anyway, don't worry about that. Go ahead and share your screen. Somebody need to. Susan, we know somebody needed that lesson. Okay, we know somebody needed that lesson. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the seeker, believer, worker, disciple level.
Right. Reward your people. If you get in properly, other people should pay more. That just is what it is. Okay, go ahead. So this, I'm not even going to read all this. Just exploring alignment, blah, blah, blah. But there's an entire long description. You keep going.
Listen, when I read that first half of that description, before to keep the video for life, I was like, yep.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
I gotta be there. I gotta be there.
Yeah. We'll go and read this first half of this description up top there.
Unravel the knots of your life and explore self-growth, alignment, and fulfillment in our transformative event, Exploring Alignment, a journey through personal evolution with Antonio T. Smith Jr. If you find yourself nodding along to topics such as coping with despair after a partner's departure or grandmother's departure, okay, that's what got me, understanding the purpose of human evolution, or grappling with the trials of maintaining a positive outlook amidst negativity, that part got me too. You found your haven. Experience a transformative shift in your perspective with Antonio's leading edge teachings.
You can stop right there. You can stop right there. Those topics, you stop your screen down. Those topics are very specific because those topics are in the actual conference. And those very, very specific. So my Law of Attraction podcast, especially Spotify, the people who reach out to me the most are the Spotify audience. I guess that's the Spotify culture. I get text messages all day. At least once a week, I get someone new that reached out and they say a lot of things. And there's this huge Antonio Law of Attraction movement happening out there in the airwaves and throughout, TV land and stuff. And I get a lot of feedback from people who reach out and say, hey, I'm 52 years old from Boston, Massachusetts, and blah, blah, blah. And your podcast is changing my life. Like I get it all the time. And so a lot of this feedback, a lot of these conferences are tailored around a bunch of the feedback I've been getting, a bunch of the questions, a bunch of the feedback. So it's fantastic. Just always remember, y'all, if you build an audience, that audience will demand that you grow as long as you keep getting better. If you focus on getting better, they will demand that you get bigger. Don't try to get bigger first. Get better first. Okay?
Come on,
Get
Chick-fil-A.
better. Yes, that's right. That's the Chick-fil-A story. Absolutely. All right. Well, Deanna, we need a strong introduction for our celebrities. Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On this morning, we present to you the celebration of 20 years of wonderfulness, 20 years of amazingness, 20 years of knowledge from the original humor consultants. So I'm not going to be before you long because I want you to experience what I've already experienced with the 20th anniversary celebration of the original humor consultants. So I now present to you the one, the only, always imitated, but cannot be duplicated. The original humor consultants 20th anniversary celebration, Mr. Phil and Mrs. Susan Sorrentino.
"20 years. For 20 years, Humor Consultants has been fulfilling its promise, which is to assist in the enjoyment of everything. We think everything is a very good niche. If you're going to pick a niche, pick everything. Our mission is to create results through enjoyable solutions. And what we really teach is the challenge, the power, and if you really want it to be, the fun of free will. Wherever you are in life, somebody's had it worse and made it, and somebody's had it better and blown it. For the next few minutes, we're going to show you some clips of things that we've done over the years that hope will bring value to you in your life. The first clip is a TV interview that I had at Channel 2 in Dayton, Ohio. The second two clips were a TV program that I was a part of by the Ohio Department of Health. One was having stress during the holidays, and the second one was how to communicate during the holidays. And the last one is a program that I did last year for a client that has had me speak at 8 of their last 9 annual conventions. And they had a speaker cancel. And they told me at 10:30 I was going to address the general session the next morning. I think you'll like it. It's Phil Sorrentino, a little different. But first, let's see what this TV station has to say about making work fun.
Are you terminally bored at your terminal?
Thank you for calling Xerox.
Do you think one more call from an irate customer will send you on a Rambo rampage? Well, maybe you should try this.
I tell them to lighten up.
Phil Sorrentino is a fun pundit, a humor consultant from Columbus. Naturally, he tells people to lighten up, but not just for laughs.
And we really do know that if people enjoy what they're doing, if they have a passion, if they have a love for what they do, they're going to be better at it. Now there's a concept.
Here's another concept. More and more companies are making fun, yes, ear-to-ear smile cracking on the job a priority.
Simply to keep their good people.
Keep their good people sane.
Yeah, there you go.
Experts say happy employees are more productive, more creative, and they make better decisions. Now, how do you go about getting happy on the job? Well, try a hug, or Phil's own dismember.
So grab something to hug and count to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's kind of like a mini timeout. But if it doesn't work, then rip its head off.
Want another way to shake off the angst of the workday? Phil calls this the Great Wall of China. Some companies actually buy thrift store plates for their employees and let off some steam with them. I hear it's been a smashing success. That felt good. I like that.
You love them no matter what. It's
Give
what they
Phil
do,
Sorrentino a minute, he'll give you a new outlook.
But it's
Watch
their
as he helps
behavior
Channel
that I
2
don't do
director
that
Fred
anymore.
Schoenhofer deal with,
How do you
well,
have to
let's
do
say,
presentation
difficult
spirit and
coworkers.
soul every day? Because you got a lot of people what I call spiritual puke. They're going to, oh, what are we going to do about this? Blah! Now, they feel better, but what about you? It's hanging from you. It's starting to, so you might want to hang around that preacher a little bit more. Yeah. And you might want to exercise, and you might want to drink more water. You might want to read some books and listen to some tapes that helps get you back to center.
Now, Phil's big on the fact that we're all different. In my case, I am differently abled in the keeping my desk neat department.
And one of the things we need to understand to make work more enjoyable is to appreciate our differences. That because you work like this, that might be the best way for you with your personality to work.
Hopefully it's hard to tell, but the news biz is stressful. But Phil reminds us,
Because after all, it is only TV news.
Talk about a high-stress job. The folks here at Montgomery County Human Services deal with deadbeat dads, moms who are frustrated because they can't get daycare. Am I right? And lots of them every day. So how do you not lose your mind and keep your sense of humor on the job?
You learn not to be a sponge. You don't soak everything in. You just kind of be like pouring water on a duck's back. You have to let it roll off you, you know.
Well, see, I don't even remember saying that. You got that on your own. That's great.
Phil actually did make a presentation to many of these county workers. They're now practicing what he preaches, and managers say people are now more productive.
What are you doing now based on the retreat? Anything different?
One of the things I try to remember is to sort of focus on the little things, the little victories, rather than to look at the whole picture.
At the root here are people taking it upon themselves to make their own job more enjoyable.
My message in 3 words, it's your choice. Happiness, it's your choice. Peace of mind, it's your choice. Now the question is, what kind of choices are you making?
Hey, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. Just have some fun along the way. In Dayton, Mary Alice Roscoe, 2 News.
All right, we want to stop right there, y'all. Come on, y'all. Mute your mics and clap. Yes, there you go. So the people in the audio know we're here.
Salute. I loved it.
All right.
I loved it.
So let's split this into 3, Grace. Let's split this into 3. Let's go with. Okay, we're gonna do this like salvation, Grace. Okay, like what was your life before Christ, and then during Christ and after Christ? We're gonna do it that way. All right, we're gonna do it.
Excuse me, Antonio T. Smith Jr.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Sandra Lucky coming to you live. I have a question. before you get too in depth into everything. Is it possible to send me, well, I don't know. This new link, I don't know if you have it, because I want to put it on my laptop so I can see it instead of me being on my phone today, because I'm off.
Oh, you're talking about the
Hallelujah,
Zoom
praise and
call.
glory.
Okay, got you. Got you. Okay. We got you. We got you for
So I
sure.
want that on.
Yeah, we got you.
And
Grace.
my camera going to be on too. So yeah, I want
Okay. We got you. She off today, y'all. You know, she be hiding behind boxes.
Woo, this good for me. So I
Grace
want it
will.
on my laptop versus my phone.
Yeah, because it's too small. I got you. I got you.
Yes.
Hey,
We talking about
Deanna.
Bill. He is like, what? That's my boy.
You need to see him in big screen. Yeah, big screen.
Yes.
Big screen. Big screen.
So I
Deanna,
don't
you
know
take
if
over in
that.
notes. Grace, you send the link.
Okay, because I don't
Yeah.
know how that's going to work with this. Is she going to send it to my laptop?
I can send it. I can send it to your email so you can get it from your laptop. Would that work?
Do you have Messenger on your laptop too?
Oh,
Yeah.
you have Messenger?
Like we had to do before the meeting.
Like Facebook Messenger? You got Facebook Messenger on your laptop?
On my laptop, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll
just
send it that way.
That'll be, she ain't got to look through the email. You ain't got to worry about spam and it gets straight there. All right, good stuff. So we're having that right now. Deanna, let's split this into
both,
3.
Grace, do both, because
Okay.
I don't,
do
y'all
both.
know, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, you mad at
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Everybody ain't no Gen Zer. So it's okay. It's all right. All right, Deanna, you let her do that, and let's split this into 3. So let's go with, we're going to get feedback now, but I want to organize your feedback. Let's go feedback. What were your I want to say expectations. What was your programming? Let me define programming so this conversation makes sense. He talked about work and having fun, and there was a bunch of things like a dismember bear. So before you watch this, what were your preconceived notions? This is not about him, about the subject matter. We know you think he fine, right? We know that. We talking about the subject matter, okay? What were your preconceived notions? Like, what was your programming before that? Then, now that you watch this, how have those preconceived notions changed? How have those preconceived notions changed? And then thirdly, we will answer who or what type of person will you share this message with? That's what we'll do. Okay. We'll do that. Now, you don't have to answer all 3. You can answer one of the 3. You can answer none of the 3. You can just speak freely, right? You can speak freely, or you can do something I'm not even expecting. Either way, there shouldn't be a dull moment now, all right? There you go. So what was your programming before? Now that you watch this, what's your programming now? And then what type of person would you share with, or just free talk? Deanna, break the ice for us. You go first.
Okay, so first off, this member, his name is Charlie now. So every time I see him, I say, hi, Charlie. I thought it was absolutely, so before I even watched this, it was the concept of you can have fun at work. You can enjoy work, but if you personally if you're one of those people who wake up and they're like, I don't want to go to work, you're gonna hate work, period. So you might as well just find a different industry to go into. So my preconceived notion going in was, I know Mr. Phil is good. I have no clue what he's going to talk about or how he's going to break it down. So after watching it, I was like, okay, so I've been on the right path, because for me, when you work in a team, especially in an office where there's walls and doors and not everybody is in one space and they can be all separated out, you have to find the enjoyment in work in order for it to be productive, which means learning, like as a supervisor, it would be learning each one of my team members and learning their personalities in their workflow so that I can, as a supervisor, make sure that they have enjoyment coming to work, like they actually enjoy coming to work, which is just recognizing the fact that, okay, I know Renee really don't like when people are in her cubicle. So what can I do to help her come to work and enjoy it without seeming like I am picking favorites or, how. And then I go to Jerome. Jerome enjoys, speaking with with his team members. So what can I do to help Jerome? Well, I can make it where every morning when we all come in, it's like everyone goes down the line. Like if I start it off, it'll make it okay to do it in the office. And then also allowing each person to be their own self. Like I can't force Melissa to have a perfectly clean desk if that's not how her brain operates. If she's one of those, Mr. Phil had a certain word for it. I can't remember what
The chaos?
Huh?
The chaos? Did he say
Um,
chaos?
he did, but it was a certain way he said organized.
Organized chaos, yeah.
No, I said Susan operates off the file system. I operate off the pile system.
Pile system. There we go. There we go. Mr. Phil operates off the pile system. Miss Susan operates off the file.
That makes so much sense, though. Those names make so much sense. They're so,
and those piles,
so
he has
visual.
stacks around his desk. So when I try to get to his desk to go over something with him, it's dangerous.
But it works for them. Oh, look, there they are.
Right there. Look at that. That's the right system, y'all.
He knows exactly where. Oh, look, there's the other piles.
Oh, he's got multiple piles. Yeah, that's it. That is
But he
too
knows, but he knows exactly where everything is. So as a leader of the team, understand that everybody's different. And don't try to micromanage people in their desk. Let them work in their strengths and let them find what's comfortable for them. If I go and I clean up Mr. Phil's entire office and I take those piles and I turn those into files, we gonna have a problem. We gonna have an outright problem because I'm messing with his organization. I'm messing with his space. So I loved this video because what I got from it was allow your team members to be themselves and to work what works for them, and the productivity will be different. It will increase, and the whole work environment will be better because everybody is working based on their strengths and not based on not based on what you put on them.
Good stuff.
Coming to work is stressful enough. Like, don't nobody want to get up and go and be at work for 8 o'clock in the morning. Some people 7, and then have to deal with traffic. So they have to wake up like 2 hours earlier than they actually have to be at work. So they're already sometimes a little on the grumpy side because they don't even want to be here. They want to get extra hours sleep. So if you're pushing on them what does not fit them, you make their work environment uncomfortable, therefore making productivity minimal.
All right, good job. You acting like Susan. You took all the meat off the bone and said, "There, your turn, Phil."
Say that. She didn't. Like, God, can I say something? She done said it all. But thank you, sister. But you know what? I had to say this because it's one, because it's the two of them, and two, I'm older, so I could have a little humor here. Here's the two things that I noticed. Bill was way ahead of time when you talk about having fun at work. Having fun at work? What? We didn't do that back. You was lucky to be able to talk to somebody when you were at work. So the fact that he was being silly and clowning and telling people they can have fun, way ahead of time. Like couldn't have been nobody else out there doing that because you just didn't do that. Work was serious and you better be quiet and blah, 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 blah. So that was massive impressive. But I hate to say this, yes, I'm old. I was looking at them computers. Are you for real? Do you see how far?
And those sweaters. Don't forget those sweaters too.
I was dying like, oh my Lord. But it shows the progression of life, and that's how life is gonna be. And that's why the kids probably look at people like me as being, old and rough and I just find it way ahead. I'm impressed because that no one, I have to believe no one else was doing that because you just didn't do that in business. Fun, that's not gonna happen. Now I want you to pay me a bunch more money than I'm really worth. I want you to feed me. I don't want to work 40 hours. I only want to work 20 or 30, still get, so now we're in a different environment where the employee is dictating how employers operate and what have you, and they expect more. And then the other thing is the plates. I'm gonna go visit the 99-cent store, which ain't really 99-cent no more, but in the Dollar Tree, I need to go get some plates. I think if we give our employees some of them plates, they might act right. We need to start throwing plates out. I thought that was a great idea. Just hit the wall with the plates. I mean, because sometimes we act, especially when they act up, I'm gonna say, here's your plate, go out to the back and have a moment. So I just thought that was pretty creative too. So I was impressed. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I could get to see white people throwing stuff at a wall, I'm going to be impressed. I mean, that is, how do you pull that off?
Another thing, if you know who Jon Stewart is with The Daily Show, they called and wanted him on the show.
Oh, wow.
And so he was to be on, and it got so that he was so busy speaking that we couldn't come up with a time slot. And so that didn't end up happening just because of how much he was on the road.
Right.
And when they wanted him. But that was something else. And there's a whole other story with that, what he was doing at that time to make that happen.
Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Renee.
All right. I absolutely, my programming before I was like, okay, how is it possible to I was wondering what you were all going to say. I think that was I was like, okay. But you already are such a very bubbly person. I was like, oh man, I was like, man, it really just took the music at the beginning for me to be like, oh man, I know this is gonna be amazingly awesome. But of course, I knew it would be. But and then of course after I was like, shoot, I wish we would have had some of those at some of my past jobs, because especially that Great Wall of China. That would have felt great just to go out there and be like, especially when I was working for in foster care. I would have loved to just thrown some plates at the wall. That would have felt like $1 million. But it's also kind of gets me to thinking about past jobs that, there was no humor at all in it. It was just like, okay, you got to do this. You couldn't cut up. You couldn't be loose at all. You just had to go by the book all the time. And I said, oh my God, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I just want to go home forever. But I think the best places that I worked at were the ones that you knew it was stressful, but you were allowed to cut loose. People were humorous. People constantly, they knew how you worked and they understood that, and they brought out the best in you. And But there are a whole lot of my past jobs, Mr. Bill, Miss Susan. They could have used you guys because woo, the suck level was at a positive 20. Okay, and I am low balling. I am incredibly low balling. But I'm like, man, because even now I'm like, they're like, well, come in here and do this, blah, blah, blah. But it was absolutely amazing because when you really know how people are, just like how you guys have the pile and file, and if you understand the things about people, that it only makes them want to come in. It only makes them want to show up even harder because when I worked in foster care, it was very stressful, but it was great because the people that I worked with were the best. They called us the dream team. Everybody checked on everybody. You knew how well people worked. And our bosses were actually not on the suck level at all. So I think when you have places like that, it brings out the best. But I surely could have used your help at quite a few. Even the job I'm at now, I'm like, woo. But thank God I don't actually have to see them because I work from home. But the suck level is still there.
You work from home and you can still feel how much you suck. God,
I tell you, I mean, some of the people at the office, they call and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm like, Lord Jesus. But it was absolutely amazing. But yeah, definitely could have used your help at so many jobs. You guys should definitely go to Akron. Those jobs are probably still there. go up there to Akron and help some of those jobs because the suck level is probably still there. But yeah, it was very awesome, and it helps because one day I want to be an employee. I'm gonna be on the other side, and I want to bring out the best in who's gonna be working for me. So yeah, hopefully I'm not ever at a suck level, but yeah, that was amazing.
No, good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, Antonio,
yes, ma'am.
A lot of clients hired us for multi-year retainers to come in on a regular basis and work with their people. And those were always great ones to have.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah. I mean, as a business model, predictable revenue is always good, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Pay up front too.
Yeah. Oh, well, look at that. Adonia was right though. This is way ahead of its time. This is before foosball tables in the Bay Area office and stuff. And you can think about it. Think about 90s movies. Think about 80s movies. And just think about the look, the lighting, the color, and think about when they show it at work. Jumping Jack Flash. Oh, yeah, I probably don't know nothing about that. That's Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, I probably don't know nothing about that. But think about
yes, I love that movie.
Think about that. And you can see the culture of the workplace in these movies. You can see it. Right? Remember, each culture, we can only do what's in our culture. We can only do it that's in the reflection of our time. All right, well, as soon as Talisha comes back, our favorite Talisha. She's most amazing. Look like Phil want to say something real quick, and then we get Talisha.
Yeah, the year we started Humor Consultants, Reagan was firing all the air traffic controllers. I mean, that's the environment 1981 was. So, and realize these videos were done 23 years ago.
Yep.
These videos are 23 years old. So it's a 20th anniversary. We've been around for 42 years.
And these videos were state of the art too when they came out. State of the art.
Yeah.
Those computers are from 2000. Wow.
Yep. That's
right.
Cutting edge 2000. That was one.
Well, let's get Talisha on.
Yeah.
She's been waiting.
Come on, Talisha.
I have to say that was right up my alley. I enjoyed every moment of it. Antonio, you mentioned about what was our preconceived behind, like before we watched it. Here's the thing about me. I already have this bubbly behavior. So there was no negative preconception about it. I just knew for sure it was going to be great, whatever Phil and Susan do put on. After seeing the other video y'all put on, I think it was, he was doing an interview I can't remember exactly. I just seen one of them and I was just like, oh wow, it was amazing. So it was very attention grabbing. I feel like you can grab anyone's attention as soon as you start speaking. The laughter is definitely there. It's easy to follow. Your steps are easy to follow. And I feel like it can be used not just in the workplace, but even in the schools. You know, when the kids that's what I immediately came to when you start speaking is we have this new generation of kids coming up and they're so worried about life and worried about what's going to happen next and how to navigate in the workplace, right? So them seeing your video would be like, whoa, you know, where is this? You know, because their first job, they're getting rules thrown at them. They're getting dress code thrown at them. You know, it's like that kid side of them has to suddenly disappear, you know, and they don't really like that, but they was like, this is what my parents went through. So this is what I have to go through. And when we have people like Phil and Susan that come in like, no, life does not have to be like this. We can have fun regardless of where we are, you know? And so I feel like that needs to be brought back. Recently, there was a lady that was retired, a lady that hired me, retired, right? And so it's a retirement. I'm excited. It's a party. That's all you said to me. It's a party. You got me right there, right? And so there was like, oh, Miss What's name is retiring. We're gonna have a gathering upstairs, right? They didn't hype it up. They didn't. I was just like, oh, you know, me wanting to volunteer. I was like, oh, you know, if y'all need help with decorations or anything, I don't mind. You know, whatever you want me to do, I'll help you guys. And so the lady's like, oh, we don't do much. We just, you know, give them a cake and say a few words. And I'm just like, wait, this person gave you how many years of their life? 30, 40, 50 years of their life? And you gonna give them some words and some cake? Like, where's the gratitude? Where is the love? You know what I mean? I didn't understand it. And they was like, the HR lady kind of looked at me and she was just like, yeah, we would like your help, right? And so I went in, I was telling them some things that they can get and do, but they were just like, yeah, we have a budget here. They was worried about more so of their bonuses at the end of the year than giving this lady the correct outing that she deserved. When you think about it, when you're in that type of situation, do you really want to give 20, 30 years of your life to a company? If this is how they're gonna treat you at the end.
Really good question.
At the end.
Really good question.
You know, so go ahead.
Talisha, yeah, that just shows your maturity. I've been hired to MC and create retirement parties. And I did one, I think 9/11 was a Tuesday, and this one was scheduled for a Saturday. And they called me up and they wanted to cancel. I said, if you want to cancel, we'll cancel. But let me ask you this, if we cancel, then the terrorists won. So go ahead and cancel if you want to. If not, I think we need this more than ever. I think this is more important that we have this meeting and celebrate this person's commitment to the company all these years more than ever. They said, you're right. And so we did. And it was a special event. Susan was at that one. Yeah, so I've been hired to MC and create retirement. What I do is I get names of people in the companies and I interview them offline, and then I sit there and interview them up front during the event. And it's those are always special. So you're really mature to recognize that and understand that. That says a lot about you.
Thank you.
And to want to put them into the school systems, like you said, we've done lots in the summer. You know, they're wanting the back to school, you know, for the faculty, for the staff, for the students, everything. And it would be times we'd be, you know, triple booked, or he'd be doing a couple of schools a day because, you know, that was huge. So we have done a lot of things in the school systems, and it's always fun. I love that.
I want to know, what did they do with Phil and Susan afterwards, as far as the concepts that you brought to them? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of other companies should have used what y'all have brought to the table. And also I feel as if you do all of this to bring it. And then it's just like somebody come in between that and mess it up. And then the routine changes. So all the stuff that y'all done, y'all did amazing. And then they have somebody else, maybe it'd be the manager, you know, and they come in and they change the rules. No, we're not going to do this no more. Oh no, we don't need this anymore. Fine. No, we don't need that. Let's get straight to the drawing boards. Let's look at these numbers, right? Let's see how we can maximize our profit. That's all they care about. What about caring about the people that work for you? You know, and so I do feel for these kids because not only do they have to hear the same crap at home, if they hear this for the rest of their life until they decide they're going to be some path builders. So for me, when I start teaching my etiquette courses, I would love to implement and get you guys feedback on how I should reconstruct my business into making some humor into that. So I just want to say overall, this was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I got excited. And you guys, congratulations on your anniversary.
But it's like the 40th anniversary now. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let me just say one thing real quick, because I want to go back to something that Donya said. When Phil and Susan were doing this, they were liberals, for God's sake. This is extremely radical. There's nothing about this video that's not radical. So when we say, I wonder how people accepted it, they did not accept it. This was not, it's so normal now because we didn't have the data back in the 90s and back in the 80s that said, if you treat Adonia well, then she'll produce more income. We have that data now. We have that data now. We didn't have that then. So they're going into businesses as like Jesus went into the Pharisees. You know, this is what they're doing. Work, make fun, gets done. And that is, tell us about the book, Phil. Tell us about the book. You muted.
It's just a writer that's his name's Bob Nelson. He's done a book on employee engagement. That's what they're calling it now. That's the buzzword.
That's the buzzword.
But I'm just saying, there's books on it here. Here's another one. See,
Oh, look at that. Human That Works. I like that book cover too. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
And we've just begun. We still got a bunch of good stuff coming.
At
least I think it's good.
And then our book's coming out. Our book's coming out.
Yeah.
On humor and all of that.
Super hot fire. Yes. All right. Here's our next section, everybody.
Hey, how about that? TV. You know, I was on TV before, but my mom said I had to get off because I was scratching the cabinet. Okay. Well, the next program is about handling stress during the holidays. Now, let's face it, this was about the holidays at the end of the year. But guess what? Every month has a holiday. Well, except for August. And, August is my birthday. August 1st is my birthday. So now you can even use these ideas towards every month. So as you watch the program, I want you to use these ideas for the next holiday that's coming up. Stress. You know, during the holiday season, we seem to have more stress than we ever have. You know, how many of you have stress? What, the rest of you are just carriers? I don't have stress, I give it. Well, for the next few minutes, we are going to give you some specific how-tos. Not only how you can deal with stress during the holiday season, but how you can have more fun too. Just say no. Now, the holiday season, I know, is a season of giving. But when you think about it, you have all the regular things you must do all the time, and then we have all the other things added on top of it. So one way to deal with stress during the holidays is learn to say no. Now, one way to do that is realize that N-O could be no, a no or denial, or K-N-O-W could be a no of trying to learn more. Instead of saying, no, I'm going to deny you of this, you need to know more about it. So during the holiday season, you really need to learn how to say no. Be kind to yourself. Plan extra activities for you so you can truly enjoy the holiday season instead of feeling like people are always taking from you. Schedule a relaxing lunch with a friend that you haven't seen for a while. Buy that ticket to that concert that you've always wanted to see and make sure that you go. Don't let other people direct you away from you really having the enjoyment during the season that you deserve. Here are 3 other ideas to help you deal with stress during the holiday season. Number 1, watch your diet. You're going to be able to eat a lot of things at the parties, so during the regular meals, eat a little less. Number 2, make sure you don't forget your regular exercise. Don't let other things take you away from that because you need it now more than ever. And last thing, drink more water. One of the greatest gifts we can give anybody is the gift of knowledge. During the holiday season, you have an opportunity to give a gift to your families and friends like no other gift you can give them. Take them to the library. They could actually go to the library and get a book, get a tape, get a video, get software for free to help them improve their lives. Also during the holiday season, the most valuable card in your wallet is not your MasterCard or Visa, it's your library card. Give people you love a library card for Christmas and you'll have less stress. Also won't cost you anything either. Leo Buscaglia says, whenever you're under stress, grab something and hug it. Now, if it's a person, ask permission. Now, my wife is a too petite. She doesn't like hugging very much because she says every time someone hugs her, all she gets to do is smell armpits. But Leo says, whenever you're under stress, grab something and hug it and count to 10 backwards. It's kind of like a mini timeout. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that should make you feel better. Now, if it doesn't, rip its head off. Oh, that makes you feel good. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a dismember. Remember, during stressful times, you have to vent sometimes. But make sure when you vent, it's at the right place, at the right time, in the right way, with the right people. Remember what the holiday season is really all about. It's about celebrating the birthday of a man who laid down 2 principles. His first principle was unconditional love. In other words, I love you all no matter what. There's nothing any of you can do to me to stop me from loving you. Now, there's a lot of things you can do to me to get me to prosecute you, but there's nothing you can do to me to stop me from loving you. And his second principle is the power of forgiveness. When you forgive somebody, you're not forgiving them for them, you're forgiving them for you, so you can let go and get on with your life. And also, why don't you forgive yourself? None of us are perfect. The power of forgiveness will free you. So during this holiday season, be more loving and be more forgiving. And I promise you'll have a better season. How'd you like?
All right, we got some stuff to talk about, and I have some stuff to show you too. He gave me some ideas. Yes, they're clapping. Did y'all see him adjust to every room? Did you? If the room was big, he was
that's
big.
when I had hair.
Golden locks. The room was big, he was big. If the room was small, he was small. Did y'all see that? Did you notice his tone go back and forth?
I did. I also know, like, when he was doing the introduction to it, I noticed how the camera was far away, but his audio was clear, clean, and crisp.
Hey, all right. So you're doing me a solid favor now, because this is what I wanted to do. You're doing me a solid favor. When I was getting ready to get adopted, this is a couple of years before, there was this, we had VHS, and it was called Dazzling Dunks and Basketball Bloopers. If I tell you, there was only 2 things we could watch: Michael Jackson Moonwalker and Dazzling Dunks and Basketball Bloopers. And here it is right here. And it came out in 1989. It went straight to direct to video. 1989. Now I want to show y'all something real quick, because that second, whoever produced that video, this is cutting edge technology. So let's see, Dazzling Dunks and Basketball Bloopers. So here it is. I'm sure it's on here, right here. Here is 1989 Dazzling Dunks and Basketball Bloopers. And I want you to know, in 1989 VHS, this was cutting edge technology. And I want you to look at Phil's video, the humor consultants video, and look at this video, because I need y'all to don't look at this as 2023 looking backwards. I need you to know this was like $100,000 production, because that's what this was. Okay, I need y'all to get that. How is this any different? So CBS, Fox, which you'll never see together today. Right, CBS, Fox, you have this. So this humor consultants video is on the same level. And I'll just come here. Like, sound effects.
Welcome to the NBA's dazzling dunks and basketball bloopers. I'm Marv Albert.
And I'm gonna start right there before they give me a copyright here. Now let me just do it right up in here. Just want y'all to know that the quality of this video is way up there. All right, way up there, rivaling CBS and Fox. Okay, so can we unmute our mic and just clap for that, please? There ain't no. All right, there you go. There you go. There ain't somebody walking around with no camcorder.
Clap for the video production department of the state of health or state of Ohio.
There you go.
Clap for them. Right. They're the ones that did it. I didn't do any of that. I was just as impressed as you are how they did it. The music in the background and the crashing with the dismember. What do you think the next one? They did a great job.
Yeah, they did. They did. As soon as he threw it, y'all hear the sound effects and stuff. It was perfect. It was perfect. All right, let's get some feedback.
Okay, since I'm already unmuted, I'll go ahead and go. Okay, this one, holidays are the worst. Let me tell you. So on my end, right before the holiday, I started making a habit of asking questions. Do you need anything? What time are you going to start cooking? Do you need help cooking? What time do I need to show up? Because I get the text message the day of the holiday. It's like, hey, what time are you coming this way? And I already know I gotta stop by a grocery store on the day of the holiday because something was forgotten. So I started doing my questions before. Do you have all of your ingredients? Do you need me to go to the store? Because don't nobody want to go to the store on a holiday, but that's like that is what happens every year. And so watching this, there was something that Mr. Phil said, I believe it was in the Be Kind to You section. He was like, schedule something for you. I never thought about doing that before during a holiday, because during the holiday, everything gets hectic. And then he said, you already have everything that happens on a day-to-day basis on top of you. Holiday just adds more. And when he said, it dawned on me, I was like, man, that is so true. It's like during the holidays, birthdays, special celebrations, it's like extra stuff. So for the holidays, I never thought about just scheduling something just for you, like going to a movie or getting a mani-pedi, Grace. I never, she my mani-pedi partner. And I never thought about that before before even during the holiday, just to decompress yourself so you can be prepared for all the family. And then saying no. Like when I first watched this, I caught the saying no part. I missed the KNOW no. I missed that part. Because the more you know, the easier it is for you to make the decision of yes or no. Like, okay, yes, mom, I will go to the store for you. Or mom, it's 2 weeks before. I'm going to give you this no now so you can go ahead and make sure you have all of your ingredients for everything you need, because I'm not going to the store on the holiday. I'm not fighting that traffic. I'm not fighting those people. I'm not doing it. So I need to KNOW if you have everything, because I'm giving you a NO in advance. So what do you need to go get from the store? Are you too tired? I'll drive. Just let me know whatever you need. Let's go get this stuff now. Or Mom, I'm not going to the store to buy a gift last minute. I know you may have forgotten, but it's okay. They'll be okay this year. Just give them a gift card. They'll be fine. They'll be fine this year. But no, this one really makes you, because holidays are stressful when they shouldn't even be stressful. And Christmas is the worst. Thanksgiving, we just cook. That's it. But Christmas is the worst. It's like, it's supposed to be a celebration. It adds more stress than waking up and going to work every day. I'd rather go to work than have to deal with Christmas. It's horrible. But this one is well needed because not a lot of people know how to handle things. And if they have this information prior to any holiday, they'll be able to deal with the crazy family members. They'll be able to deal with the drama of the holidays, because it never fails. It's always that one relative. It's always that one relative. And if they have this information prior to, they would have went and gotten their mani-pedis and gone to the movies or gone out to eat by themselves just to have their me time so they can be decompressed. So by the time that crazy relative come around, they're like, oh, I'm ready for you this year. What's going on? Nope, not doing that. Yeah, that sounds great. Nope, not even going down that route. You know what? How about you have a seat over here and just relax with everybody else? And then you go on about your business. Like, you'll have a whole routine ready for them because you're ready. Like Mr. Phil and Miss Susan got you ready. It's like, no and no. But no, this video was absolutely awesome. Again, we never think about stress over the holidays because we're too stressed to think about being stressed over the holidays. So this was awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Talisha? And I'm going to just say the elephant in the room. It's a bunch of people with terrible sex lives. That's why y'all so stressed out. All right. You cannot be stressed out with a great sex life. You just cannot. They don't fit together. Go ahead, Talisha.
Speaking of sex, I feel like people that come to work need to have it early in the morning because
exactly.
You clearly showing you ain't. But anyway, no. So I want to say this was amazing. Stress. I'm gonna tell you on the employer side compared to the customers, because I used to work at Kroger's, and so y'all go in the store and y'all be like, oh wow, they setting up for Thanksgiving already. Oh wow, they setting up for Easter and it's only Christmas, right? We have these charts that we look at, these yearly charts, and so when we look at them, we're like, okay, so what this year our numbers were like this. This is what we want this year. Right. And so it's all on the employer side, it's all about the numbers. It's all about making sure that we have everything in stock for the employee, for the customers when they come in. However, Valentine's, worst one. Oh my gosh. I just don't understand it. It's just some flowers and some candy. Like, I just don't understand it, but it's a big deal for everybody. They have these tents going on outside. People are coming in there like, oh, I need to make sure I have a dozen roses.
You understand?
And they want the name.
I messed up all year, so I got to make up today. I've been messing up all year. Keep going.
So they are like, they want these chocolate covered strawberries. It's just on the employer side, it is very stressful when it comes to holidays, because you have people coming in there, oh, this is not what I asked for. It's like you have to be on your P's and Q's on everything. So Phil and Susan, this stress, what you're speaking of is stress, it's all around. It's a circle when it comes to the customers versus the employees. Even when we do like what do you call it? When you feed the homeless, Houston Food Bank do it, but it's actually a name. Oh, Super Bowl Care. That's what they used to call it in Kroger. So customers, you come in there, we're asking for your money. Yes, we are. We're in there saying, hey, would you like to donate $1 for the food drive or whatever? And you're just like, I just spent like $200 in here, and now you want me to give you more money, right? Yes, and guess what? On y'all end, y'all see it as that, like we asking for more money. And the back end, we're getting yelled at. Hey, you're not asking enough customers for this, and we're like, we are. They're just saying no, So we have to figure out how to get these customers to say no. You know what I did? I brought my cute little daughter up there, and she sold the whole thing, right? And and then after that, they were just like, okay, yeah, have your cute little daughter come up here every year and sell the stuff. That's what the managers did. They allowed me to bring my daughter to work. Just bring my daughter to work that week until we sold a lot of stuff. And she was aggressive. Like, I was just like, oh, where did this come from? Like, the people would pass up. She was like, excuse me, she 2, 3 years old. Excuse me, would you like to donate? Da, da, da. Some of the kids, some people didn't want to tell her no, so they'll just walk off. She'll follow behind them, get on their basket. Like literally get on their basket and ask them until they come back. They'll say, oh, well, I'll see you at the checkout, right? They'll get the money, come to the end. They don't forget her. They'll come, give her $5, give her $10. They say, this is not for the store, this is for you. And I just be like, I couldn't let her have it because we would have gotten in trouble. But it was just the idea. It was the point is that it was stressful, on the employer's side of things. So yeah, this was amazing, Phil. You laid it out of how people should be during holidays. And I feel like literally this needs to be put on TV now, like literally now.
That's fair. That's fair. And I'm sure he can still do a bang up job because he can. Go ahead, Renee.
So, okay. Now, I love the holiday season. However, it makes me glad that I don't live close to my family, because I know all of them will probably be trying to give me gray hairs. But it was really, there's sometimes I don't think about myself in terms around a holiday season. I'm probably the last person I think about, and that's deep, because you're constantly doing. There's a lot more service that is going on, especially around the holidays. It's like, okay, you go over here, you go over there. You know what I'm saying? Church is doing something out in the community a little bit more. And that's amazing, because I don't really think about myself, but then, you don't taking time. I like how you guys said to take time for yourself, and I'm really getting better with saying no. I'm really loving that. And one thing I love about no is that it is a complete sentence. That's one thing I really love about no. It's you don't have to say no, but blah blah blah. No, that the no always suffices. And that really is amazing to me, because I'm like, okay, no. It's music to my ears just saying no. Sometimes when I tell Prophet no, it's just like, oh, yay, no. Or sometimes hell no, if I'm feeling that way. But anyway, it is a very stressful time, and I really enjoyed what you guys were saying, but I almost choked on what I was eating when you said the dismember bear. I was like, oh, I said I need one of those so I can go Terminator on it, because I kind of felt like you went Terminator a little bit on that bear, but that was freaking awesome. Because it's like, oh, it's like sometimes you just
kill the bear or kill your coworker, right? So
yeah, I might need to do that, because I have an 8 over here that Jay gave me last year. I might just, and then just go, I'm saying, like Stone Cold Steve Austin on it, and just pin it, and just throw it around the room. That might really work too. But I absolutely loved it, because you brought a lot of things that I didn't really think about, and some things that I really want to use, especially, Jay's birthday is coming up. That's a holiday, and then here we are. What I'm saying, your birthday's coming up. That's another holiday. So it's a lot of things coming up, and it helps to be like, okay, to breathe and to still make time for yourself, because we have to always make time for ourselves, because we are the biggest project we're ever going to work on. It's us. So everything's going to start with us. But I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna probably throw that ape around this room probably quite a few times, But I'm gonna record it so you guys can see it. But
no doubt. Let me say this before we get to Sandra. It's not just evergreen information, because evergreen is information that can be used throughout generations. It is practical and easily applicable immediately. And that's what makes this so powerful, because it's not just evergreen. It is right now. We can make these changes and see an impact in our daily lives. So good. Talisha, by the way, your hair looks amazing, by the way. It sure does. Yes. She came back. Okay, Sandra. Y'all let my hair poof like that, y'all ain't gonna never hear from me. Ever. You hear me? Grace, ever. Sandra, you want to say something?
Okay, yeah. There's several things I want to say.
Take your time.
Man, Phil Sarantona, I need you to please put those bears back in circulation.
$100 a bear.
They need to come out of retirement by any means necessary, because, oh my God, just the thought of being able to be at the job and nothing else works, like Deanna was saying earlier, and I couldn't get to my mic and get stuff done, but just the thinking of traveling to work, because that's what I be trying to do, trying to get to work. It's called hell before you even get to the job. And then when you get to the job, there's more of the stuff going on. And they call me the sunshine and the smile. I be going through doing what you was describing. However, I need some plates. So it's like a whole set of things that you are doing and have done that need to come back and need to come out of retirement so that it could get back into circulation, because it shows from then to now that they need, what you call that thing when you get, what is that called when you immunize?
Like shots, like immunizations. Okay, got you. Okay,
yeah.
Got you.
That's what needs to happen, because just like Antonio T. Smith Jr. was saying about with each scene, you changed in each situation on a job. People don't know how to do that. I'm just saying.
No,
Sandra Lucky just saying. They don't know how to be happy. They don't know how to be calm. They don't know how to sit in the moment without losing it. So with all of that you were showing, all of that goes into play in the place of work. And even those stressful times, like you were saying, like the holiday time, that needs to be done, because nobody is a child today. And that means nobody wants to sit at the children's table. So that means when they when they call for everybody to come to sit down, everybody's gonna come to the table, and they're gonna think they're not supposed to be at the little table. So there needs to be a lot of that right now still going on. I love that. And on a personal note, can you please come to work with me tomorrow, since I gotta go back?
Get your request in now. So the salesman in me heard 2 sales opportunities. This dismember and this dismember, and take the humor consultants to work with you. Okay, now that's gonna cost some money now. Okay, it's gonna cost some money. About $50,000. But they'll go to work with you. It's no problem.
Hey, Tony, you know what else they need?
Yes, ma'am. What's that?
A soundproof room where you can go in there and scream.
Yeah.
Loud as you want.
Now that actually,
and break China.
That actually makes sense now. Have a prayer room and a cussing room. That makes sense. There's a need for both now.
That's it right there.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied.
And I think every
Put them on two
every
different ends of
school,
the office.
and not only should every office have that, but every school should have every school from elementary to high school and every college should have one place on campus where they can go and just decompress before they either move to the next class or something. And maybe just have one whole build, like for college campuses, have one small building where each room is something different. So you have the scream room, you have the cussing room, you have the break a plate room, you got the I just need to meditate room. I think that would be awesome. And yes, teachers do need that. Like and it's for everyone, because last year I really learned dealing with Dawn that even little kids need a spot to go decompress. And it never dawned on me how much public service announcement, stop putting you on your kids and pay attention to what you pass on to your kids, because 8-year-old kids should not be stressing, and 8-year-old kids should not be worried about perfection. Okay, back to what we're talking about. But
Thank you, Deanna.
very welcome. But I definitely, I completely agree. Like every company should have a built-in screen room, built-in break room, built-in cuss room, and just a place where you and Charlie can go sit. And you know, you could hug on Charlie, or you can rip up Charlie. It just depends on the mood you in at the time. And I think, a Charlie should be present in every single classroom from grades, or from all grades, from K to 12. There should be a Charlie in every single classroom, and the students should be able to get up, grab Charlie, either rip him up and toss him at the other kids, or or hug on Charlie and then go sit back down. I really think there should be a Charlie in every classroom, like every single classroom.
We're going to try to get those redone again. We'll find someone else.
Yeah, and if we get to the last,
have to have a border slip for every school in every city, in every nation, and everywhere, because children going into school, period, they need to dismember real quick.
Yeah, if we get to the last video, when he's going to show up one more time, but there's a line I added to the end. So don't tune out the next time he comes up. Pay attention, because I've added a line to it that I think is pretty funny.
And we're going to watch the entire video as well, no matter how long it takes. It's Friday. Y'all ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah, the last one's awesome. So you got to stay for that.
Yeah, the last one is pretty. It's me a little different. It's me from the stage. You see me working it.
Sweet. And
but this next one's my favorite.
All right. And y'all are doing a great job with feedback. Keep it up, because Susan she's gonna get 50 million testimonies from this, and then like all sorts of stuff, because she could put it in the script, transcribe it, like so many different things that can happen from this.
I'm just humbled that hopefully it makes a difference in your life. That's the greatest gift you can give me.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Talisha.
Okay, the next one is learning how to communicate during the holidays.
Okay, so we'll watch that one right
Oh
after
yes, that one's nice. I'm excited already.
Okay.
Go
Did you want
ahead.
to say something real quick, Talisha?
No, go ahead, Miss Susan.
No, I was just going to say, in Columbus, Ohio, and in the state of Ohio, these two locations are two big hotspots in Ohio. The Columbus Metropolitan Library is amazing. I used to take my kids there all the time, and it's just amazing. I've never seen anything like it. And then COSI, the Center of Science and Industry, where the next one is an amazing place. I mean, you go on field trips there for schools. I've taken my kids there many, many times. We have a blast when we were there. We were members so that we could go whenever we wanted. So that's why I like those two videos.
Yeah, that's powerful. All right. Well, Talisha.
When y'all were talking about the different things that they need in school, I remember they used to have actual live animals. Like at the beginning of the school year, the kids have to choose a pet for the classroom. And so whatever that pet was, that was supposed to be the class pet, and everybody's supposed to, I guess, when they're going through stuff, they can go and talk to the pet or whatever. Some people did fish, some did, what do you call them, lizards? Those big, y'all know what I'm talking about. They're huge, but they're not lizards. They're in the
Oh,
lizard.
an iguana.
Yes, those. They would have those, some people do rabbits. But it was supposed to be that concept. However, they did start this engaging in that for some weird reason. I don't know why. They stopped doing that. Maybe some of the kids was like, I should take them home.
That they were dismembers.
The pet's a really great idea. And it's so easy to have a little rabbit or something in the classroom and the kids take turns with. We were blessed with, where our kids went to this little private school that the teachers, I don't know if you remember who Jack Hanna. Jack Hanna, he was the head of the Columbus. He's the animal guy. He was always on TV with all the wild animals. He's traveled all over the world and is an expert on every type of animal.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Jack Hanna. And so Mitchka traveled with him and worked with him. So she then was their teacher. It was her mom's school, and she was their teacher. So she always brought in exotic animals, snakes, wrapped around my daughter. And so they love animals and got to experience all those and touch them. And I think it's so important for kids. That is a really important thing, to learn how to care for and nurture an animal.
Uh-oh, you muted yourself, Susan.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have that in the classroom where the kids can nurture and take care of and learn about taking care of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now-
And I'm pretty sure that the lawsuits that took animals out of school, we complain about stuff now today. Who was that for? Say something.
Yeah, Felicia. I was just gonna also mention prayer rooms. Reason being is because my daughter goes to, it's called a public school, but honestly it's private because not everyone can get in. It takes years for you to get into the school. It's like a waiver or whatever. However, they go based off your grades and all of that other stuff. The one my daughter particularly goes to is a lot of Muslims there, a lot of Arabian kids there. And so my daughter tells me, she's like, Mom, it's sad that, my friend can't pray out loud. She was like, she has to go in the restroom to pray. I was like, the restroom, and I was just like, because, with their religion, they have to, I think a certain, every hour or something like that, they have to go and do a prayer. And so you would think that school, since they have a large amount of Muslims there, that you would make a room for them. No, these kids are asking teachers to leave to go take a break, and they got to go in the restroom and pray. So I feel like that is something else that needs to be allowed, some type of room for these kids who have for their religious basis to be able to go in there and pray.
Yeah, they pray 5 times a day. They pray 5 times a day. It is Fajr, Tahur, Asir, Maghrib, and Isha. So that's just them degrees up there. They come out every now and then.
They don't even do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. Putting your hand on your heart. Oh, it's really gotten away from all of that. That's
Lawsuits.
we grew up with. Yeah.
Lawsuits. And now slaves learned skills. So that's a thing happening in Florida right now. Good job, Florida. Good job. Slavery was good.
Was a benefit. Yes.
It's a benefit because we learned skills. Yay. All right. Listen. School. All right. We are back at it.
Those ideas, huh? We got to see the dismember again. Well, guess what? He's coming back one more time. But this next section is a section about communicating. See, none of us will ever be more successful than our ability to communicate. Trust me, I am the perfect example of because I have the ability to articulate, I'm usually perceived to be much more intelligent than I actually am. Yeah, I was in the 10% of the class that made the top 90% possible. But because I can communicate, because I can articulate, because I know how to develop trust and rapport with people, I get things, I go places, I make an income that people who are more brilliant than I'll ever be get to go to or do. So I hope during this next section you pick up some ideas so you can learn to be a better communicator. Happy holidays, PH1 viewers. Last year we came to you from the library. This year we're going to talk about communication. If I can give you a number of ideas to help you communicate better during the holiday season, you and everyone around you will have more fun. Listen. Huh? Listen. You know, listening is one of the toughest things in communication. My gift to gab has hurt me in my communication process. Now, it's helped me as a speaker, it's hurt me in my communication process. I've had people all my life say, Sorrentino, it's better to be silent and be thought ignorant than to speak and remove all doubts. I had somebody else say to me, Phil, the steam that blows the whistle doesn't make the engine run. Someone else said, a hermit in Gallion, Ohio, and there's still hermits in this world, they're very hard to find. He said, Phil, you need to appreciate the silence between the words. So one of the keys during your holiday season, I want you to listen. And one of the greatest ways to listen is to use the echo technique. In other words, when somebody says something to you, you just echo the last phrase. Oh, we went up to the lake the other day. You went up to the lake? Oh yeah, we got a new boat and we went fishing. You went fishing? Oh yeah, and we caught this wonderful trout. A trout? Now, you have to go, oh, really, or huh, because if you keep going echo, 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 they're going to think you're deaf. So what we want you to do is go echo, echo, oh, echo, really, echo, wow. So if you're going to be a better communicator during the holiday season, make a commitment to listen better. Impact. Your communication impacts people, just like this stone impacted these bricks. Let's have an experiment. Everybody out there, pretend like you have a lemon. Okay, now get your knife, cut the lemon in half, feel the juice running down your arm. All right, take the lemon. Oh, see the lemon, there's little wedges. Oh, there's a seed, plop that seed out. Take that lemon, put that lemon up to your nose and smell lemon. Think pledge if that's helpful, okay? Now bite the lemon. Oh, bite the lemon. Swish that juice right around. Okay, put your lemons down. Okay, how many of you winced when you bit your lemon? How many of you salivated? Think about this. I affected your body with my words, and my words weren't even true. So during the holiday season, make sure you watch your words because they will impact people. Things are not always what they appear. During the holiday season, when you talk to people and you're communicating with people, remember, what they may be telling you may not be the rest of the story. Dr. Stephen Covey got on a subway in New York City. A couple stops later, a man got on the subway with 2 children. Their behavior was unacceptable. Dr. Covey went up to the gentleman and said, Sir, you ought to be reading my books and listening to my tapes. The man looked up to me and said, Sir, I'm sorry, but my wife was just hurt and we're heading home and I don't know what we're going to do and the kids don't know what they're going to do. Did Dr. Covey's perspective change? Did your perspective just change? Always remember, there's the rest of the story. The Indians tell us to walk a moon in their moccasins. A moon is 28 days. Some of us don't take 28 seconds to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. So remember, things usually are not what they appear. Balance. One of the keys to communication is to make sure you establish balance. And there's a process called neuro-linguistic programming. It is a communication tool. It's been around for 25 years, and it talks about how we all like to pick different channels to communicate on. There's the auditory channel, there's a visual channel, and there's a feeling channel. Now, audio people, they like to talk very specific and succinctly, and they'll say, listen to me, I want you to hear what I'm saying, I hope it rings true. Visual people say, a picture's worth 1,000 words, visual people can't talk fast enough. and they say, can you imagine this happening to us? Just picture us getting this done. Finally, there's the feeling channel. Whoa, 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 feelings again in my life. Now, feeling people, they'll tell you, I know you told me and I know you showed me, but it doesn't feel right. I actually can't put my finger on it. A lot of these in California, by the way. So if you're going to make sure that you have balanced communication in your life, you need to first determine when someone is talking to you, what channel are they broadcasting on? Adjust your communication style to match their channel, then you will have balance, then we will have rapport, and then we can get into real communication. Computers. Think of all that we get out of a computer. We have the internet, we have video games, we have spreadsheets, we have email. Computers help us out so much in our lives. And guess what? Everything that comes out of a computer comes out of a 1 or a 0. It's a binary system. So all the things that computers bring to us are a result of combining 1 and 0 in different ways. What if your communication during the holiday season would come out of love and forgiveness? In other words, for the next few weeks, all of your communication is a variation of love and forgiveness, love and forgiveness. Wow! Would you have a holiday that you would remember for the rest of your life? The holiday season. An opportunity to eat too much, drink too much, spend too much money. But your success and happiness during this season is a function of your ability to communicate. None of you will ever have a more successful season than you will have based on your ability to communicate. So please, take the ideas we've suggested during this program and make a commitment to implement them. And then you and yours will have a happier holiday season. I hope you take these ideas.
All right, it's talkie time. Yes. Yes. So who's first? And please.
Woohoo!
Yes.
So good.
Yes. Whoever, Deanna, you're first. Okay, you're first. Deanna, you're first. Please also bring up the many different backgrounds and how Phil was still on script while doing all those crazy things.
Wait, can I go?
Yes, Grace got it.
Okay.
You saved her because she was multitasking anyway.
So, okay, with the different backgrounds, okay, because when I saw this first Tuesday, I was like, wait, first of all, how I feel balancing on this big unicycle, because I would have been scared. I know he was strapped up and everything and on a rope. I still would have been scared. If I would have went this way or that way, it was a wrap, okay? But my thought process was, how is he concentrating on riding his unicycle and speaking the right words to the camera? Because I'm like, I would not be able to focus on, my focus would be I need to make sure I'm balanced on this bike. Make sure I'm balanced on this unicycle. Okay. So that was one thing. I was like, okay, Mr. Phil is very talented. The other thing is when he was saying things don't always appear as they seem, when he was giving the example of Stephen Covey on the subway with the gentleman with the kids, and because a lot of times when you see stuff like that, you be like, I'm gonna need you to get your kids. You know better than that, but you don't know what's going on. And so just having a conversation with somebody, you can understand, because you don't know what people are going through. When you're at work and somebody having a bad day or whatever, or somebody's having a bad moment, and then they're kind of aggressive, having attitude or whatever. And if you say, oh, that's just the way so and so is, you don't know what's going on though. Have you ever stopped to ask, why is this person like that? Have you ever stopped to talk to them? Hey, what's going on? Something I can do to help or whatever.
That's true.
So,
that's very true.
So I mean, just feel it out.
Well, no doubt. Thank you, Grace. Appreciate you. So you look nice this morning too. You look like you took a bath last night. Good job. There you go. Okay, go ahead, Renee, then Talisha.
Oops. Okay, I unmuted myself. So okay, there are a couple things. I was like, woo. First thing you said, and I was like, man, that is spot on. The crater that had made that big impact. I was looking at that and I said, snap. I said, ooh. And I started to think like, okay, what happened there? And then you started talking about the impact of our words. And I said, ooh, and it made me think like, shoot, how many of us, a lot of us are dealing with the impact of sometimes of people's negative words. But there also is a great impact over the positive words that people have said. But I think I'm a visual brain myself, so that it kind of put it even more into perspective. Like, okay, what words am I speaking, making it personal over myself, over other people? Is it leaving a print like what you were showing in the video? I was like, ooh, that really was like, ain't no way. I give you props for being on that unicycle, because I said, oh no, but it every time that it is like the room started to, like, the room was huge, and then there you are, and then it just brought even more into focus everything that you were saying. So it was almost kind of like when we look at different things going on in our lives, things seem like on a huge scope. It seems a lot bigger than us. And then you kind of brought everything into perspective. It was like, bam. And I was like, oh, snap. Okay. Yeah. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think of it that way. And I was like, but ain't no way I could have did that.
No, that was great. That was great. That was great. Keep going, but that was great. That was a great observation.
I was like, man, but ain't no way I could have been on that bicycle, because I would have been like, help somebody. There should be a parachute or something, like we used to play in school. We had the game, say, with the parachute and running over. Somebody's got to have that under that, because I don't know how I could have got down, but you did great. But I don't know if that could have been me. But it was just it was just incredible. I really appreciated every example that you gave, because it hit home. It hit home because like I said, I got a visual mind. So when you see things, it's like, ooh, but that impact, it really, really hit, because I want to speak positivity, especially in my own life, because if I speak positivity in my life, then it can spew on to Talisha, can spew on to everybody, because that's what I'm speaking to myself. So I feel like a lot of things that we speak about ourselves only spew on the other people, because I always say hurt people hurt people. So if I'm hurt, I'm gonna hurt Antonio. I'm not saying that I'll be able to, but I'm gonna try to, because that's what I'm putting on myself. So that was just awesome.
Okay, well, there you go.
I also want to say,
was awesome.
I winced when I bit my imaginary lemon. Okay, go ahead.
I did too.
Yeah, good. Yep. Go ahead, Talisha.
I wanted to say the
We'll
imagery.
take you, then we'll watch the video. Keep going.
I want to say the imagery was definitely there. Being like Renee was saying, especially when you're speaking to visual people, when you said bite the lemon, cut the lemon, take the seeds out the lemon, all of that, like I was there with you. Like I was actually cutting that lemon. I was actually taking the seed. Like I was like, oh, but when you said get that one seed, I was like, oh wait, I got about 10 of them. Let me get them all out. So I was going a little bit overboard, but I was really following what you were saying. And I like every example that you gave. It was just like you gave an example, you took us there. And then after you took us there, there was a message behind what you was trying to tell us, which was even better, And so I feel like that would be good for any audience, no matter if you're an introvert or not, you got it, you understood it. And it made that childlike side of you come out, who would not want to go there with you with the words that you were speaking. I enjoyed what did y'all call it? A yucca, the one, what do you call it? The unibike.
Unibike. Okay. I thought you were trying to say ukulele. Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. The unicycle was very amazing. I was just like, oh yes.
It came out of nowhere, didn't it? Came all out of nowhere.
Yes, it did. So I was just like, oh, that was very amazing. It was just like, okay, after this, Phil, what we doing? We're about to go jump out the airplane, because it was just really good. I do want to mention when you were talking, what was those white things you were standing by and they were like far apart? You ran to one side and you ran to the other side. I'm not sure what that was, what the
something unique to the area, like a sound booth or something. I have no idea what it was. Yeah,
so
but it reminded me of Bill Nye the Science Guy, though.
Yes, the way he ran across,
Yeah.
that really
in front of the science museums and what you call them, like for the astronaut and all that stuff to show how echo bounces off of stuff so that you can hear it from the other end on that side. So if someone was on the other side and you spoke into that, then they would literally be able to hear you because of the echoing from that area to that area. Because when you speak it over here, it'll hit that and bounce over there. And whoever's standing over there can actually hear you.
All right, there go your answer. There go your answer.
Thank you
I know.
for sharing that, Sandra. I want to say with those echoes, when you explain, Mr. Phil, about how communication works and how to use the last words that they're saying to kind of keep the conversation going, it's great because sometimes, like when people are speaking, my mind may be somewhere else. And then when they say something like, oh, what did you say? Or like, oh, I'm just catching on to what they're saying or something like that. So that reminds us to be very active listener when we're speaking, when we're talking, when we're listening to others. So that's what I got out of that. And then when it came to the computers and all the noise that was going on in the background, I wouldn't have been able to do that. That would have been, I would have been like, y'all need to get out of here or something, or we can't shoot right here because I would hear so many people and trying to remember my line, so I think you did an overall amazing job, Mr. Phil. And it's very exciting, and you definitely put your point out there in every explanation that you give.
Yeah, good job. Great observation, because that's when the computers were all stacked up. He had his head in between. And I'm assuming that was the point of that, to show the hustle and bustle of work and how everything's so busy, but the computers are just so simple, ones and zeros, right? It was a contrast going on. Go ahead, Sandra, then we'll play the video.
Okay, I don't know the exact name for those things, but I do know that that's what they do because, the 13 grandchildren and the children, we always in something in the 4 great grands. And that library thing, that's one of the things that I thought about how much I was able to spend time with the grandchildren and children and great grands, being able to be at the library. So having that, all of that was good. I'm gonna just say that because I got something from all of it.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense. I sure thank you. Thank you for being the one to know that. I didn't know what it was. If I have grandchildren, somebody going to jail. That's for sure. Somebody going to jail immediately, Grace. You hear me? Immediately. All right. I think this. Oh, so this is the last video, and let's take some good notes. Well, no, let's not take good notes. Let's not take good notes. I don't want that part of your brain working. I want you to receive. I don't want you to let's.
I haven't taken a note because I've been listening to this.
Good, dude. So you don't take notes. So don't take notes. But let's put ourselves in the crowd. There we go. Let's put ourselves in the crowd and let's just enjoy it, and we'll have good solid feedback. It's about 30.
It was a big audience too. It's going far back.
All right. So we
just take a seat in the audience.
Let's take a seat in the audience. There's one more chair just for y'all. One more chair.
Is on communicating and have a better life.
Let me say this here. So your expectation here should be about 30, 45 minutes. So dig in, get ready, because I don't want y'all 10 minutes in and go, oh, what's going in? There you go. So go on, get your soda real quick. Susan don't want you to have one. She wants you to have you some super greens. We're gonna get there you go. All right, here we go.
This last section is a section that I had a gift to do. I have a client of mine, it's the National Emergency Number Association, 911. I've spoken for them for 8 of their last 9 annual conventions. Now, in the tape, I say 9 out of the last 8. Pfft, go figure. But what a great group. This program I developed, it was 11:30 the night before. They had a speaker cancel, and they said, Phil, can you give us 30 minutes for our general session the next day? It's a little different. I think you'll like it. Here's what I came up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, for 8 of the last 9 years, our very own humor consultant, Phil Sorrentino.
N-I-N-E, O-N-E, O-N-E, N-I-N-E, O-N-E, O-N-E, N-I-N-E, O-N-E, O-N-E, 911. Thank you very much. Now, whoa, Ryan, what's your name? Allison, come on up here. Real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we would not even begin to do what we do if it wasn't for teamwork. So these 2 people were nice enough to bring this out for me today so that I can spend a few minutes with you this morning. Let's thank Ryan and Allison. See ya. Oh, did I get that one? Good morning. Good morning. 9 of the last 8 years, huh? What a gift. When we talk about teamwork, one of the greatest definitions for teamwork is out of a book called The Game of Work by Charles Coonran. He says teamwork is based on great individual execution of assigned responsibilities. Now he goes on to say not compromise and cooperation. Now I disagree with the second half of that definition. I have 5 children and I have 3 grandchildren. I'm a grandpa. By the way, you all know why grandparents and grandchildren get along so well? They share common enemy. Gotta bring them together. So I live my life based on compromise and cooperation. But the first half of that definition I believe in spades, and here it is again, is teamwork is based on great individual execution of assigned responsibilities. In other words, for everyone here to be the best team member that we can be on this team is for everyone here to make a commitment to be the best we can be at what we're supposed to do before we start worrying about what everybody else is doing and not doing. Do I hear an amen on that one? Amen. And here's the kicker. Because we're telling you to be perfect, it doesn't mean we're telling you to be right. Or it is telling you to be right. You know, being perfect is being right. Being our best is willing to be wrong. Being perfect is being right. Being our best is willing to be wrong. I walk into manufacturing companies all over America. I see these signs on the walls. We want you to do it right first time, every time. No pressure there. And then we're going to change everything every 2 weeks. So I think when we talk about teamwork, and especially you in the 911 industry, because of the change, but your pressure to being perfect every time is just always there. But we've got to understand that we're not going to be. But I hope to give you some ideas here this morning in the few minutes I have that will help you deal with those special situations. Also, I believe we have to operate differently as a team. In the past, we operated as a football team. We tried something, we had a meeting. We tried something, we had a meeting. We tried something, we had a meeting. We had offense, we had defense. We had special teams. Could you do this for me? I'm sorry, I can't. I'm on a special team. We had timeouts. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the pace of change and the volume of change, we have to pick a different sport. What sport do you think reflects the environment that you're currently working in? Any ideas? Huh? What? I heard hockey. I define hockey as ballet with weapons. Now, I believe soccer. Think about it. Once a clock starts on a soccer match, does it ever shut off? No. People are injured, we drag them off the field, and the clock is still going. Do you have any meetings in soccer? No, we communicate on the run. I'm going to kick it to you. You better be ready. Today we call this email or voicemail. Sure, you've got areas of responsibility in soccer, but you better be able to go from offense to defense in a heartbeat. And if any of your team members are pulled out of position, you better be backing up, covering their lane as well as yours. In soccer, we ask you to use your head. We have never asked everybody to use their head more, and especially in the 911 industry. Every one of you as an individual, you must have the freedom and the opportunity to use your head. Because things change so much. At an instant, they change. And soccer is co-ed. We've never been more co-ed than we are today. So when we talk about this teamwork approach, one of the things that I am just humbled about to be involved with your group as long as I've been is just the sense of camaraderie and teamwork, and more importantly, family. We really are a family. And as all the things in families, we have problems and we have problems. And for those of you who are fortunate enough to be at our problem-solving session yesterday, I thought it was great. I challenged the audience. I said, give me a problem, and we'll work on it and hire it. Lady's hand went up like a rocket ship. I said, what's your problem? She says, I just got a call. My 18-year-old daughter just got a tattoo. And when her dad finds out, he's going to kill her. Now that's a problem, right? Now one thing I had to think about that went into my mind, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow when I talk about your emotional intelligence, because you always must deal with your emotional mind before your rational mind, because your emotional mind is faster than your rational mind. And I immediately thought, now this lady, where is she in emotions? She could be all the way over here that, this guy's not a very good guy. I've had problems. Him and they just don't get along. And when he finds out, I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm here and I can't even help him. Or she could be over here and say, they'll work it out. But it was interesting to see how everybody jumped in and had an idea and had a concept and really pulled together. We had people saying this, oh yeah, I asked how many had a tattoo. Well, let me ask you here today. How many of you here today have a tattoo? Come on, let me see your hands, get them up. See, it's not that bad. But it was interesting how everybody came together for that one thing to solve a problem. Right now, I'd like to give you 3 basic concepts that I think, and I got them out of the book called Conversations with God. Anybody know about, how many know about the book Conversations with God? They're very funny. In book 1, it says, you cannot find God with your mind, you can only find God with your heart. Therefore, to find God, we all must lose our mind. I feel holier, I don't know about the rest of you. And he ends book 3 with these 3 points. And I think for this group, it's kind of fun. Number 1, we are all one. The same spirit that's in you is the same spirit that's in me. What I do to you, I do to me. One number, one nation, we are all one. And with that, we need to understand the power of love. And those of you who've heard me speak, you know that I think that's something that's very important. The power of unconditional love. As I told the first-timers, I love every one of you no matter what. There is nothing you can do to me to stop me from loving you. Now, there's a lot of things you can do to me to get me to prosecute you. But there's nothing you can do to me to stop me from loving you. The power of love, unconditional love. By the way, you should have seen when I spoke to 900 Teamsters and was telling them about unconditional love. And about being more feminine in their leadership style. Now, when I say more feminine, I mean more receptive as opposed to projective. I mean more comforting as opposed to confrontive. I mean more conciliatory as opposed to combative. I simply mean more caring. I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So when I was telling them about unconditional love, they literally looked like deers caught in headlights. Now, even this can backfire. 2 anniversaries ago, I woke up next to my wife, and I turned to her and I said, sweetheart, I have never been more in love with you. I have never been more thrilled that you are my wife. I've never been more thrilled that you still want me as your husband. I think our kids are absolutely spectacular. And on the morning of our anniversary, I just want to tell you how much I truly love you. She looked up to me and she said, I have diarrhea. I said, excuse me? She says, I have diarrhea. I said, is this your way of saying you got a headache? Because it's not your head I'm interested in, but. Well, I had to leave that day, and I go to Fort Lauderdale. I'm doing a program. I'm in a hotel. I'm getting ready to go out there and go do my program, and the phone rings. Ring. Oh, hi, dear. She goes, you're not going to use what I told you this morning in your seminars, are you? I said, I'm opening with it tonight. It's my opening bit. So the power of love. Number 2, think abundance. Think abundance. Live your life based on abundance. There's plenty out there for everybody. Don't live based on lack. There's always more money looking for good ideas than good ideas looking for money. None of you have a money problem. You all have idea problems. Look at the ideas that get money. Pokemon. Beanie Babies. Unbelievable, the ideas. So you've got to think abundance. Don't think lack. I think Nina has been a great example of how we have progressed over the years, of how we've come up with creative ideas and working with our vendors and working with the government and working with local authorities to really realize that if we can make this pie bigger, all of our pieces will be bigger. The concept of abundance. That's a real important issue that you got to really work on and think about and live your life by. And it's fun too when you do it, because you have a whole different sense of what's going on. So that whole power of abundance. 3, we're beings, we're not doings. We're human beings. We're not human doings. We get it backwards. We think we have to do this, to have this, to be happy, to be at peace, and be fulfilled. And God says, no, dunderhead. You were part of me. He really didn't say dunderhead. That's something I just threw in there. No, dunderhead. You were part of me. My arm is part of me. My arm is not me, but my arm is part of me. So we have to think in terms of we are beings. So be happy, be at peace, be fulfilled, and then you'll do the things that happy, peaceful, fulfilled people do, and then you'll have what you're supposed to have. A simple concept, and not an easy one. Because we have things that happen to us, and we have stress, and we have to deal with stress. And I talked to the other persons the other day about stress. But there are things to do, and we have to understand that. How many of you are familiar with Leo Buscaglia? Leo Buscaglia. Now, Leo Buscaglia, this cat gets paid, or he passed away a couple years ago. He got paid $25,000 for a 1-hour speech, and then he hugged everybody. Trust me, first client pays me 25 grand for an hour, we be hugging. Naked. Hey, for 25 grand for an hour, you get me any way you want me. You are the customer at that point. But Leo says whenever you're under stress, he says grab something and hug it. Now, if it's a person, ask permission. And if they're a petite, my wife is a 2 petite. She doesn't like hugging very much. She says all she really gets to do is smell armpits. So duck for the little ones, right? But Leo says whenever you're under stress, grab something to hug it and then count to 10 backwards. It's kind of like a mini timeout. So you go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that should make you feel better. Now, if that doesn't work, rip its head off. That feels good. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a dismember. I had one woman after a seminar come running up. She says, Mr. Sorrentino, do you have any of those with genitals? Tell tell me she didn't have issues. B. Now, what that whole exercise is about is you have to vent. Venting is important. My wife and I were with our psychologist, and by the way, we had to go to do a little parenting and couples therapy, which I think is great. I have a friend of mine, he's in therapy. He says everyone should be in therapy. He says if you're not in therapy, you're in denial. What do you say to that? I'm not in denial. And denial ain't just a river in Egypt. But he was talking about, he says, I'm not sure about this concept of catharting, of venting. You know, I have people come in here, they've been to 10 psychologists, and they said, yes, I'm not doing very well, but I catharted. He says, I'm not too sure about that whole concept of venting and catharting. I said, no, I have to disagree with you. We got to vent, ladies and gentlemen. But what I suggested to him, and what I suggest to you, is you have to vent in the right way, at the right time, at the right place, with the right person. He said, ooh, that's good. I said, well, then can I charge you for this session? We have to vent because it allows us to remind ourselves of the being part. It allows us to remind ourselves of who we truly are because we lose our perspective. Let's face it, wouldn't it be fair to say that 20% of anything you deal with you're not too thrilled about? Think about it. 20% of the people you work with. 20% of your family. So 20% of your spouse. Somebody said, I wish it was only 20%. Matter of fact, they'd still be my spouse if it was only 20%. So we've got to learn to keep our perspective. We've got to learn to truly understand that if all things work together for good, then all things work together for good. Not just things that are convenient for us, but all things. And when you're in the business that you people are in, when you deal with all the things you deal with on a regular basis, if you can make that one of your values, I truly believe that it'll be like grease, kind of making it go a little easier and making our life go a little better. And that's part of it. And part of the grease is thanking people. Part of the grease is the power of praise. I don't believe we don't give enough praise and we don't get enough praise. SBC, the organization that sponsored this morning, we need to praise them a little bit, give them a little thanks. There's another group that we need to praise, and I don't think we've ever praised them at one of these conventions. We've praised a lot of people, but this is a group we haven't praised. This is the group that is truly behind the scenes. This is a group that makes everybody up here on this stage look good. This is Don Sell and his audiovisual crew. I haven't had an opportunity to work with them on a number of these things. 9 years ago, he started too. He missed Montreal like I did, but he's been here ever since. And when you have an opportunity to work with these professionals, and they truly are professionals, they are there to make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and that all of us, some of us more professional of getting up here than others, look good. And they really are committed to that. So I would like right now, we thank them. We don't praise each other enough. That's the thing. And why? I don't know why it is. Oh, do I think if I praise you, it takes something away from me? Then we're not thinking abundance. Then we're not thinking opportunity. We're thinking lack again. Those of you who've seen me work, you know that my big ending, and a lot of times, and I want to do it here today only because I think it's that important, is the power of praise. And that none of us give enough praise, and none of us get enough praise. Oh, by the way, I just recently found out, I was just diagnosed ADD. Yeah, like you're going, like, duh. I mean, if they would have had attention deficit disorder when I was a child, I'd have been the poster boy. No, my family would have bought Ritalin in bulk. No, I am the kind of kid, when the teachers felt I was going to be in class, they called in sick for the year. I had 2 take early retirement. I literally had a nun in the 4th grade whack me in the back of the head with a music book. I turned around and she said, "That's for everything I have never caught you doing." I turned around and said, "Well, honey, you better hit me again. You got no idea what's happening back here." Also, don't put anything in your ear smaller than your elbow. And I was violating that the other day. I was doing the Q-tip thing. Now, y'all know what the Q-tip thing is, don't you? You put the Q-tip in your ear, you turn the Q-tip and you take it out. It is a very simple procedure. Well, I'm doing the Q-tip thing. I put the Q-tip in my ear, and by the time it took me to take it out, I got distracted. That's pretty bad when you can't even complete the Q-tip cycle. It is not a long cycle. So now I'm walking around with a Q-tip hanging out of my ear. Now, I'm very secure in my masculinity. I do moose. Yeah, I do moose. So I'm doing the moose thing. I put the moose in my hand, I went to put the moose in my hair, and I jammed the Q-tip into my eardrum. The pain took me to my knees. And when I finally decided I wasn't gonna call 911, my brain said this to me. And please listen to your brain. I've talked to you about this. How many know about your subconscious mind? That's the mind that makes your heart beat without you having to go heartbeat, heartbeat, heartbeat. That's the mind that makes your glands work without you having to go glands, secrete. It is a very powerful tool, but it's a tool you get very little training for. There's a great book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And by the way, I believe in books. If you aren't reading books, if you aren't listening to tapes, whoever is reading books, whoever is listening to tapes is going to eat your lunch in the marketplace. You don't have a choice, people. Great book called The Power of Your Subconscious, written in 1963. And it really tells you how to use this tool, this operating system. See, your subconscious mind is like your operating system, where your goals are like the software. And by the way, and I told this to the first timers, and in this industry, as great as any other industry, we have to truly understand the geeks have won. I bow to the geeks. So you better be a geek, hire a geek, rent a geek, partner with a geek, marry a geek, sire a geek, or make one your really good friends, because the geeks have won. So when I finally decided I wasn't going to call 911, my brain said to me, "Okay, smarty, what good's going to come out of this?" I said, "Well, think of all the hearing professionals I'm going to get to meet that I normally would not have met. I am that quick. Can you develop a habit to look for the positive that fast in anything that happens in your life?" It is a habit. Now, a couple months after this, I had the gift to stand in front of the Minnesota Victims Assistance Conference. I had Mothers Against Drunk Driving, parents of murdered children, victims of incest. By the way, they have changed their name to Survivors of Incest. Minnesota Coalition Against Battered Women. And it was a gift to be in front of that group. But a lady followed me that day, and I got to share with you her message. The year was 1985. A plane took off from Greece and was on its way to Egypt and was forced to land on the Isle of Malta. The hijacker took the hostages, took them in the door of the airplane, put a gun to their skull every 15 minutes. How do you remember that incident? There was an American woman that laid on the tarmac for 5 hours pretending to be dead. She followed me that day. Her message was riveting. She said about 10 minutes before it was her turn to go to the door of the airplane, she had, and all she could describe it was a sense of knowing that everything would be all right. She knew if she died, everything would be all right. She knew if she lived, everything would be all right. So she kind of went to the door of the airplane with a sense of anticipation, like, cool, what's going to happen? She heard the click, she felt the pressure, and down she tumbled. She opened her eyes, ready to see heaven, and all she saw was blacktop. She was pissed. Like, where's heaven? But the lady before her moved, and so they went down and finished her off. So Jackie laid there and said, I better not move. And she laid there for 5 hours. She had an out-of-body experience. Her soul rose out of her body. She saw her body lying on the tarmac. She saw the blood streaming out the back of her skull. She met up with her grandmother who had died 2 years earlier, and they in the spirit state were traveling to the white light. At some point during that journey, that sense of knowing overcame her again and said, Jackie, it's not your time. She turned to her grandma and says, Grandma, it's not my time, but Grandma, you're going to be all right. Go to the light, it's okay. And her soul went back into her body. Ladies and gentlemen, could we truly make this industry better if we just keep those two things in mind? Number one, in the big picture, everything's going to be all right. And number two, none of us are going before our time. Everything's going to be all right. And none of us are going before our time. Of course, me being the smarty pants that I am, thank you. Me being the smarty pants that I am, I raised my hand. I turned to the people there today. I said, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of takes away from my Q-tip story, doesn't it? Think abundance. You know, it was interesting. In the first grade, I remember asking the nuns, I says, by the way, you know, God knows everything that's going to happen. Then how do we have free will? They said, sit down and be quiet. I said, it's a question. Well, in Conversations with God, Book 3, he answers that question. And I'm going to give you that answer. And it's a very cool answer. The answer is this. When you play a video game, how does the character on the screen know how to move? What's the answer? Programming. All the potential moves are programmed onto that game, but you move your joystick. When you petitioned for this manifestation onto this physical plane at this particular time, all of your potential moves are programmed into your game. But you move the joystick. You have a choice. That's what it's all about. You all have a choice. The power of praise. It does cause miracles. How many of you believe in miracles? I believe in miracles. I think if you don't believe in miracles, you're being unrealistic. Let's have one here today. Like this half of the audience, please stand up very quickly. Stand up. Face this half. You two over there, what are you doing? Sit down. Face this half. At the count of 3, I want you to give these people the screamingest, holleringest, yellingest, standing ovation you've ever given anybody in your life. I want the roof to come up this place. I want people in the hallways to go, are they having an Amway meeting over there? Because let's face it, we'll scream for football players, baseball players, basketball players, but when was the last time we praised our peers? You need to erupt. You people need to participate. As we give you the state ovation, I want you to stand up, put your right leg behind your left leg, and I want you to go, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to give each other high fives, all right? Because let's face it, this may be your only shot to actually get a standing ovation. And believe me, in this industry, there are a lot of you that deserve a standing ovation, and you're never going to get it, but that's the nature of your work. Oh, by the way, while we give these people standing ovation, I want you to catch the eyes of the people that you really like. Well, also catch the eyes of the people that you don't care too much about, and they will know which one they are. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Hoo, 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 yeah! Hoo, 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 yeah! Hoo, 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 hoo. Yeah! Okay, down. How'd they do? Give it back to them. Yay! Hoo, 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 hoo. Yay! Finally. Well, before finally. I can't thank you enough. 9 years ago, you gave a young guy a real chance to do what he loves to do. It was one of the greatest meetings I ever did. And you've had me back again and again and again. And I really can't thank you enough. It's been a joy to work with you. When you die, 3 things are going to happen. First thing that happens when you die is whatever you think is going to happen when you die. See, if God gives us a free will to create our existence here in the physical plane, wouldn't it make sense that God would give us the same free will to create our existence in the spiritual plane? The second thing that happens when you die is your values, and you choose your values, will sit you down with a videotape of your life. Boom! Yeah, get to watch the toga again. Now, I know they're not going to let me have the fast forward button. I know they're not going to have reverse. I know they're not going to give me erase, but Lord, could I have the mute button? Because there's been things in my life that I said, and as they were coming out, I didn't want to say them. I just couldn't stop it. And I don't want to hear me say them again. And then you get to look at a series of videotapes. And these are videotapes of the lives of the people that you have affected. 911. Wow. Think of the tapes that you get to watch. So I only pray that every one of us here today will live our lives in a way in which we are looking forward to seeing our tapes. Thanks.
Y'all can start clapping right here.
In
Hold on.
closing, oh, by the way, Nina has asked me back again. 9 of their last 10 annual conventions. We'd like to finally share with you how we define your sense of humor. And we actually got the idea from my son's kindergarten teacher. Chad was in kindergarten. Oh yes, I do have a Chad. He's not a pregnant Chad. He's not a dimpled Chad. He's actually a pimpled Chad. He's 17. But he was in kindergarten, and they were talking about your 5 senses. Well, Chad raised his hand. He said, "What about your 6th sense?" The teacher said, "Your 6th sense?" And Chad said, "Yeah, your ability to read other people's minds." In the parent-teacher conference, I went, yes! A tear formed in my eye. I turned to my wife, and I said, "He can't clean his room, but he's got this one right." But she was a great teacher. She said, "Chad, what about your 7th sense?" And Chad said, "Your 7th sense?" And the teacher said, "Yeah, your sense of humor." So if we can agree that your sense of humor is your sense of perspective, then it's the combination, it's the distillation, it's a result of all the information that you process through your other 6 senses. So it's your attitude. So do you have a loving humor, or do you have a hateful humor? Do you have an encouraging humor, or do you have a discouraging humor? Our whole message for the last 20 years is, you choose the humor you bring to the world.
All right, come on, y'all unmute your mics. Let's clap. That grand finale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap this time.
Yes.
Don't speak behind Phil. Yeah, don't go behind him. Yeah, buddy. He had him standing up, shouting and everything. Okay, we'll take some feedback and then we are done. Oh, go ahead, Susan. Susan wants to go first.
Well, it occurred to me, you know, the ones we got to take our kids, one special one, was that Colorado, Phil? We took the kids. Yeah. And the guy who always hires him, his kids were there too. And we got to hang out and go to the pool and do all kinds of fun things with them. And then I'm sitting here thinking about that. Phil's going to be flying out, you know, for the wedding. And, you know, we were looking for different ways to get to Orlando. You know, there's like a village taxi here. But you have to wait for all the other people. You could be late. And there's all kinds of little services that'll get you there. We didn't know which one to choose, you know, that's what.
Right. You hit your mouse again by accident.
Yeah, we didn't know which one to choose because you never know which one's going to be good. And so we're like thinking, well, wait a minute. The guy who hired him also lives in the villages. And so we called him to ask who we should use. And he said, "Are you kidding me? I'll take Phil." He said to spend an hour in the car with Phil would be awesome. You know, because we're saying, "Are you sure you want to be?" And he said, "Of course I do. And I'll pick you up too." And then he was saying all this other stuff that would be helpful for us. And so that just really touched me. And that just happened a week or so ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gave me chills. Hold on, Sandra. I know you're gonna say something good. It would be awesome to spend an hour with Phil. Like that. That's why you live life, so people could say stuff like that. You know, like this is what we do this for. This is the physical impact that we have on this planet. Someone just wants to soak up your energy. All right. It's fantastic. I just wanted to echo that. Good job. Sandra?
Yeah, man. Can you even imagine that? That's like, oh my God. But truth be told, I have a confession.
Oh, we like that.
My confession. I get mad and aggravated with so many of y'all in this community, but it never, ever lasts, because just like what Bill was saying in his past deliberations on this day, if you lead with the love and forgiveness, then nothing else matters. Just like, because you always have to, one, forgive them for whatever you think they have done, because majority of the time when people are talking, they don't catch everything that they're saying. And I'm gonna tell you why this made me think about it. And two is that you have to forgive yourself for even thinking that they would think something about, you know what I mean, in a negative way. Why would they do that? Because it's a community. They wouldn't purposely think that. So your thinking, your thought process has to line up with the structure of the community. And what is the community? To communicate and commune with one another. So all of this coming from all of what has been said today, I'm listening to you, Phil, and thinking about how even when you told us, and I'm gonna say for Sandra Lucky, when you told me way back when I first did my first keynote, I remember my first keynote, and you said, it's okay if you get stuck, just keep going. And to be able to see you do that a couple of times today, my mind, I'm giving it a cry. Wait a minute. Let me get it together. I got to get it together. Because that was watching you do it in front of me so that I would know how that looks. That's amazing. The mistakes that came across, and then you came back and still put them in. Even when you were nervous, you put it into whatever you were saying. And the way you, just amazing. I have learned. So just I'm so glad that I'm off today. And I'm so glad that whatever happened, that this couldn't be done. Yes. Anyway, I'm glad.
Yeah, no.
This has been amazing, just amazing, phenomenal. I've learned so much from each and every segment. And I'm so glad, Antonio, that you decided to do this, because it wouldn't have been done. And Phil, you need to be applauded. So I applaud you. There was something that I watched that you were doing a camera thing, and y'all were doing, I don't know who that was that was with you. I'm assuming it might have been one of your sons or something. And you were doing,
Sandra, do me a favor and adjust your head or something real quick. Your noise cancellation trying to cut you out.
better?
Yep.
Okay. So you were doing, Phil, a bicycle thing. I don't know if y'all were doing a real race or whatever that was, but that race made me think about this deliberation, what you're talking, what was done today. Because in segments, y'all made stops and you went over what you were going to do next. And for each one that you went over what you were going to do next, you also went over what y'all had went through previously. So all of that is so important with thinking about and going through all of these segments today. And I'm grateful. Thank you for this community.
Amen.
And I'm glad you're in this community.
Amen to that. No, that's very good. Very good. And I'm shocked you even get mad. I've never seen you mad. I've never seen an angry Sandra. Never. I've never. You fib. You fib to us, woman. Yes. Go ahead, Renee.
First thing is I just want to say this to the Sorrentinos. You guys, I'm a snap too, just because I feel it. I'm going around there, I'm gonna snap. You know, I'm gonna say, I know in the previous one, and I said about the analogy of that you had of the impact, and so seeing you guys' impact as well in this setting, I was like, boy, oh boy, you jabbed me a little bit at the end. I mean, well, actually throughout the whole thing, but I'll say also at the end, because you think about what your impact specifically is. I've said in here that some people will be happy to see you coming, while some people will be happy to see you leave. There are people like, oh, so I try not to be the one where people are like, oh, thank God Renee's gone. Whew, now we can really have a party. Yeah. There was a movie or something that I watched some years ago, and at this guy's funeral, and he came with like the ghost. I think it was like one of those Christmas movies. And he said, well, nobody's at my funeral. He's like, I don't know. And so he went by one of his friends' house, and they were having a big party, a big time party. And he was like, oh. And he realized that he had been an absolute Scrooge to everybody all the course of his life. And they were having a party because they were glad that he was dead. I was like, dang. I was like, yeesh. I said, that's a burn right there, but it gets you really to thinking, about your impact. And I love how sometimes we don't hear praise in our lives. We don't hear a whole lot of it. And sometimes it's completely on what we've done in that minute. And sometimes you just need praise just because. And that helps you to want to go that extra step forward, especially I thought about past jobs where they praised me just for like, we really appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow. And I feel invited to come in. If you don't appreciate me, believe me, I'm showing up, but mentally I'm counting the days until I get up out of there. So it's amazing what you, as we're talking about with the praise, because it's like, you need that, where not necessarily to pump and prime, but just need that to go a little bit further. But yeah, I thought about, man, what are my tapes gonna play? You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. That's fair.
I was like, woo. I said this morning on Crazy Weird News that I know that I've been the villain in somebody's story over the course. I've been somebody's villain. You know, they're like, oh, Renee, and only I can be like, well, you know what? I don't want to be a villain. I want to see what's going on, and I want to I don't want to be a villain in somebody's story, but I know that I was, because I'm not perfect. But so I know that'd be part of the video, but it's learning from that and continuing to ascend and letting that other stuff just be like, okay, that happened, that's true, but this is what I'm going to do to ascend from that. And that's what I hope my video shows, the comeback, you know. But that was just, it was just very articulated. And I was able to follow it. It was just amazing. But that's one of the things that I really took was, man, you really find things out. You really find a lot of things out about yourself as you continue to progress through life. But some people stop learning and they truly die because they stop learning. I want to keep learning. So that was just awesome. And kudos. Love you guys.
There it is. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, only 2 more comments left to go. We'll take the first one from Susan, as she talked to her loving husband about whatever that has transpired. And then we'll close it out with the man himself and let him close out with some comments, however he want to do it. I'm sure I have gratitude in there somewhere. Susan?
Well, I never knew when I stepped on that deck on 7-Eleven and our eyes met, what all was where we'd be sitting today, right now, talking about all this. It's been an amazing journey with a lot of challenges and ups and downs, especially in the early years. And you just have to stay with it, you know, as you pursue your dreams, stay with it. And, you know, go to that friend of yours, that positive friend, you know, someone that you can, you know, there, like Phil says, there's times you do need to vent, you know, you need to get it out, and, you know, make sure you talk it out and just keep going. Don't ever give up. Follow those dreams and stay with it. And, you know, you'll have a fulfilled life, like we talked about last night in the call last night. You know, and I thought about all that as you were saying it. You know, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Are you living the life that, you know, are you going down the path that you're supposed to be going down? And I believe everyone on this call, that's why you're here, because you said no. Renee, you said no to that. You know, I said no to what I didn't want to do.
Right.
You know, I wasn't going to sit and, you know, work. I think, you know, I had this lady, you know, tried to boss me around and, you know, throw all these documents in front of me and says I was supposed to type them all up.
And we
And,
know
you know, that's
nobody
when I
puts
was,
baby in a corner. We know that.
yeah,
much.
I was just 20 something years old, and she's, you know, doing all this stuff for Secret Service and the Department of Energy and all this stuff. And I didn't work for her. But she was coming and throwing this stuff on my desk to do. And, you know, I was kind of shy and trying to do my best. I'm trying to do all that for her. And, you know, I just kept being nice to her. As mean as she was, I just kept being nice to her. And finally, you know, she was in the hospital. And I asked, and you don't leave work in the middle of the day, but I asked if I could go and take something from the department to her. She was shocked to see me. And she actually got tears in her eyes. I mean, she was this, you know, tall, stately lady with a French bun, you know, just the whole thing.
Yeah.
and thought she was superior, but she broke down and cried. And she couldn't believe that I came to see her, especially after the way she had treated me. And so sometimes you need to rise above those things and do the right thing.
That was perfectly said. That was perfectly said. I hope yeah, they clapping for you. That was perfectly said. Phil, it's been 42 years in the making for you to give this speech of yours. It's all yours, buddy.
Well, I guess my prayers are twofold. Number one, take the ideas that resonated with you and implement them. That's the greatest compliment you can give me, is to take the material and do something with it. And then the second thing is, I don't know how we can give this out, but is there a way to just, if you want to use it, you have my permission to give it to anybody you want to give it to, because it would help them and promote what we got going here. Say, this is just a little example of this community we've got going. And here, yeah, I'll give this to you. You might want to take a look at it because there's some good ideas there.
Absolutely. We'll
Antonio
do that.
and I already have some ideas. Right, Antonio?
We were talking privately, but absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. So Deanna, what you do is put it to Wasabi as well and make sure Susan gets the link. And then I'll give further instruction, but I don't want to mess up Phil's energy right now. Keep going, Phil.
I'm done. That was
okay. So then put it on the podcast.
We haven't heard from Jerome. I want to hear Jerome something.
You know what? Come on, Deacon, get up in here.
Purposely was silent because I wanted others to share. But I'll tell you this. I remember when I first met the human consultants, and I remember when I first met Phil. And something inside of me said, there's something about him that I really, really like. I did not know what it was, but I knew it was good stuff. And when I saw this before, this isn't the first time I've seen this. When I finished watching this before, I said to myself, Jerome, now you know exactly why you like Phil and Susan Sarantino, because I thought back my 21 years in the Army. I went in the Army when I was 19, 21 years in the Army, 7 years for those kids in New York, and 18 years at this engineering firm. And one of the things that I always did was I made it fun. If it weren't fun, I didn't participate in it. I told my last, the engineering firm, I told the owner when he hired me, I said, when I stop having fun, I'm out of here. And when I saw all of that, when I met Phil, all of that came back. And I said, that's the reason why he and I connected on such a level, because I made life fun. I made work fun, everything I did. And people were affected by that. But that was the only way I knew how to do it, because life's too short, then you die. So if you ain't having fun, what you doing? And that's when I met Phil, I say, that's the reason why I like that dude. So that's what I have to say. Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll add to that. And the first time I saw Phil was he was on stage and he was ripping up a bear at the Les Brown event. And I had no idea what to expect. I typically think all seminars are going to be boring and the people up there are going to say the same thing. And that is exactly what happened until Phil sashayed his little tall self on stage, because it was completely different than anybody else. Everything else was so predictable. So that he got on stage and he did the most amazing presentation. His presence, it's more than that. He didn't just command the stage. He got up there and let you know, this is my stage. It's my stage. When I get off, it's still going to be my stage. And that's what it was. And that's the impression I got. I never forgot that. Yes, sir.
It's my room.
That's my room. That's it, I mean. So now y'all see, this is my room. That's it. That's it. So I echo that, Jerome. I echo that for sure. You got to put it on both podcasts, Law of Attraction plus Secret to Success, and then put the Human Consultants links on their website, whatever that, whatever. Get with Susan. She'll let you know whatever she wants people to go to. So we'll do that. Plus that video, make sure it's public so Susan can download it. Other than that, that is it from us. Deanna, you want to close us out with your cute little...
One more thing.
Oh, yes, please.
And I pray you're able to find that video.
Yes, because that's the one I'm looking for. I'm a contact. I got you.
Yeah.
It's on one of these drives. The problem is I got too much.
We had it, but when my computer crashed, I said, I lost some things, and that was one of them.
That was one of them. He rocked it out too. Deanna? Tracy said in the chat, I learned so much on how to improve my speaking from watching that video. Thank you for that. There you go. Yeah, that was a master class and professional speaking. That was we just went through a master class from stage to cut scenes, just vocal variations, and there was just so much more. You can hear his outline. And the most impressive thing I saw, and I'll just say this because I really wish I would do this. I hate when y'all don't do this, but I don't really say nothing. I let Phil and Susan tell y'all. I just sit there and clap. A few times your words will get stumbled when you're on stage, and it happened to Phil. He just kept going. He fixed the word and kept going. He didn't win. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God. Nobody on the planet expects you to be live and not stumble a word.
Right. We're just humans, and we're just talking. When you talk normally, if you want me to be a robot, I can be a robot and just read what I am saying here so I do not miss a word. You want to be able to feel and all that. And keep in mind, he'd already spoken a couple of days and, got that late at night and probably didn't sleep as much. And,
and then said he was on tomorrow to do something. I forget what it was. The next day. I heard that too. Yeah. That's powerful. So what should have been a mess up was impressive. Right. But that's, again, masterclass. Go ahead, Phil.
The 3 videos you saw, and I may have just not remembered, but every one of those was a first take. At the library, at COSI, they were all those pieces were one take.
Which is even on the unicycle.
Yeah, everything was a one take. I'm sure there was 1 or 2 that I did a 2 take, and I just don't remember it. I choose not to remember it, but I remember almost every one of those pieces. Every section was just a one taper, which is a gift. That's something I'm using a power much greater than me to do that.
Absolutely. Deanna, close us out. Give us some of that anointing you got going on in your throat.
I want to thank everyone for those of you who stayed past 10. Thank you so much. For those of you who are with us this morning, thank you so much. I really hope that in watching the 20th anniversary of the original humor consultants, that you took notes, that you paid attention, because it was more than just a message that was being delivered when Mr. Phil was talking. His delivery was a message. The locations were a message. The tone in his voice was a message. And then he also showed us that no matter what stage you are on, always be you. From how you treat the people you work with to how you talk to your audience, always be you. So we are grateful for the opportunity to have the original humor consultants with us every day. Not everybody has that opportunity. And we have that opportunity to get their teachings every day. We have their phone numbers to reach out and ask questions. Not everybody has that. And we have a tendency to take for granted the people that are in our lives on a daily basis. So let's not take for granted Antonio T. Smith Jr. Let's not take for granted the original humor consultants. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know of anybody else who has been in business as long as I've been living and still in business. So let's not take what they do lightly. Let's not take their presence lightly. And let's show gratitude always for everything that they do. So I present to you in gratitude the original humor consultants, Mr. Phil and Mrs. Susan Sorrentino. Thank you so much for everything that you do and everything that you have done.
I love you, everybody. Y'all have a good one.
Love you more.
Love you more.
Love you more.
Y'all.